Good evening. I'm going to go ahead and call our meeting of December 12th to session. Our current chair, vice chair, well, let me begin with our current chair is now on our town council, so you will no longer see Chair Jensen. Our vice chair is on his way, but in order to just get the meeting going, we are going to go ahead and get started. And when he gets here, he'll go ahead and take over. But let's just go ahead and get the formalities out of the way. I am the previous chair, Mariko, and we will just go ahead and if we could begin with roll call.
Commissioner Talsfor?
Here.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Here.
Commissioner Smith?
Here.
Commissioner Bourgeois?
Here.
Commissioner Sayoc?
Here.
And Commissioner Erickson, Vice Chair, Acting Chair.
Here. So I would like to apologize to my fellow commissioners and to the public, but I'm living proof of the challenges of traffic in the town. So everyone is here and present accounted for. Let me make a couple of opening comments for the moment. On Monday night, Marcia Jensen was sworn in as a member of the town council. And a couple of minutes later in this meeting, we're going to provide some recognition for Marcia for her long service on the Planning Commission. As a result of her election to the town council and her swearing in, she can't be a member of the Planning Commission anymore, so the vice chair gets to take the place of the chair this evening. Also, just a matter for the record, the council also interviewed applicants for the open position on the Planning Commission on Monday night and appointed Ms. Kendra Birch, the new member of the Planning Commission. She will be sworn in and will serve the first time in the month of January, as I understand. So we would like to ask people in the audience to turn off their cell phones if you have such, and I will invite Commissioner Talsfor to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first order of business is approval of the minutes of the meeting of the Planning Commission of November 14th. Are there comments, corrections, or a motion to approve the minutes? Commissioner Talsfor.
Yeah, I'll move to approve the minutes of, I reviewed the minutes, have no comments, but I move to approve Wednesday, November 14th minutes.
Approval of the minutes is moved by Commissioner Talsfor.
Seconded by Commissioner Smith.
Thank you, Commissioner Smith. Any other further comments? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. We have no written communications, no desk items tonight. I believe that's right, staff. We have a requested continuance this evening, item number 2 on the agenda. I would ask for the staff to give us whatever comments they have to add to the information that was circulated ahead of time as part of the packet.
Staff received a number of comments, and the number and substance of those comments do lend staff to recommend a continuance of the item for staff and the applicant to consider further environmental review. Staff agrees with that, the applicant agrees with that recommendation.
Are there any questions or comments from the staff, from the commission? Sorry, Commissioner O'Donnell.
I'm sorry, you may have said it, but I believe this is being continued to a date uncertain.
That is correct.
notwithstanding it being uncertain, do you have any orders of magnitude as to when we're going to hear it?
No, we do not.
So the applicant has essentially asked to continue it, or is this solely from staff?
Staff is recommending the continuance, and the applicant agrees with the recommendation and is requesting the continuance.
To a date uncertain.
Correct.
Thank you.
Commissioner Sayak.
A question and a comment, if I may. The first question is, I know with certain applications, we do have to meet deadlines required by state. Would this application follow one of those where we have to make a decision by a certain date?
It does, yes.
And what is that date?
It's 6 months from completion. If additional environmental review, if it triggers any additional review, then that would change the deemed complete date.
Okay, so it's 6 months from date of completion of,
The required environmental review.
I see. Okay, so the clock basically hasn't begun ticking for us to make a decision.
Potentially, that's correct. If additional environmental review is determined to be required, then the deemed complete date would change.
Okay. And then through the chair, my comment, with this application in particular, we've had, it's been very voluminous, and I do appreciate staff providing the material in chunks, and it sounds like you've certainly received quite a large amount of documentation. Is it possible to start reviewing that, or when can we anticipate seeing more information?
Oh, you will see more information when the report is prepared to go to the next Planning Commission agenda.
And that would be the normal Friday before the meeting?
Well, due to the volume, we would, again, send you things ahead of time so you have
Okay.
an opportunity to go through
Okay,
it.
that's exactly what I was asking. Thanks.
Commissioner Talsfor.
Right, so my question, as a follow-up, the information, I think the note we had said that there was substantial or more substantial information. Is that why it was continued? In what area? I mean, can you be a little more definitive as to what the, can you do that? What's
As
continuing
the
this?
commission understands is that anytime there's any project and environmental documents, in this case there was a mitigated negative declaration, there was a comment period available for the public to make those comments. A lot of the comments came in right before the close of the comment period, which was last week, and based on the comments, their substance, their volume of it, staff and the town's consultants need additional time to review the materials prior to presenting it to the public and to the Planning Commission.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Bourgeois.
Commissioner Talsfor asked one of my questions. The second one, Ms. Bailey, you just said in answering Commissioner Sayak's question, if further environmental review is needed. So let me just clarify. We don't know if at this point, because you're asking for the continuance and the staff report says to complete further environmental review, but that just means to have time to process the comments. The further environmental review you're talking about is maybe if it needs to be escalated from a mitigated neg deck to an EIR. Is that?
I'll go ahead and jump in, and then Ms. Bailey can respond to that. Again, the town has an obligation when it gets comments to review them, to analyze it, to adequately respond to them. And at this time, staff has not had a chance to adequately review and analyze with the town's consultants the comments received. So in this case, the town can't make any recommendation about whether the current environmental review is adequate or whether there'd have to be any additional, including the full gamut or none, except other than a response to comments. And staff's just recommending that since they weren't able to present that information to the public and the commission in a timely manner before tonight's hearing, that they're recommending the continuance.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Just the reason I was unclear is because it says continue to a date uncertain to complete further environmental review. So I read that as meaning you guys had already determined that you did need to do additional steps. But what you're saying is that you just need more time to process the volume of information and make those decisions.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions or comments? If not, the chair would entertain a motion for, Commissioner Bourgeois.
Well, just given the amount of attention this project has gotten and the amount of, I know, comments and background that we've received on it, I know it takes a while to, there's a lot of meaty discussion and debate over this project, so I could fully understand the need for additional time to process this large volume of information and make sure we're making the right decision. So for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and make the recommended motion to continue conditional use permit U-12-002 and the mitigated neg deck 12-002 to a date uncertain.
A motion's been entered by Commissioner Bourgeois to continue the item to a date uncertain as is outlined in the staff report. Is there a second to
I
that?
second it.
Commissioner Smith. Second. Commissioner O'Donnell.
I just have a question for some clarification. I don't know whether anyone in the audience is here to speak to this matter, notwithstanding that apparently it's going to be continued. So I don't know the order that we would normally take that. Normally, we would expect to have received cards indicating somebody wanted to speak on something, and I don't know that we have.
Let me ask the town attorney, as I understood the process, and I may have misunderstood, we're at a point where we were considering a continuance if the motion is introduced. It's now been seconded, so the matter before us at this point in time is whether or not we should continue the item. So we would now invite the public if there are people who want to comment on it, on the matter which is before us, which is a continuance of the item, not anything to do with the actual potential application that's coming forward that would be considered at a date in the future if this motion were passed. If this motion fails ultimately by the thing, then one would continue with the public hearing.
Okay, just one other thing that I'm again confused. When do we receive public comment that we always receive for matters not on the calendar?
You could receive it now if you choose to open
What
it.
I'm worried about is if anybody is here, clearly they must know that there's a motion to continue and that nobody else is here. It's unlikely that it would therefore go forward. But what I want to be careful of is that we do not appear to be ignoring any comments which would otherwise members of the public might want to give. And I know none of us want to do that. So I'm just a little concerned because normally we would, and I don't know the sequence, I honestly forget, when we receive public comment. But since public comment is on matters not on the agenda, it's a catch-22. We've now made a motion to continue it, and I believe the chair's understanding is we could now receive any comments. And that sounds fine to me.
So I believe, I'm going to say what I believe my understanding was with consulting from the staff. So since the matter before us at this moment is the continuance of the item, what is not on the agenda for tonight is the substance of the application that would be heard so that is not on the agenda tonight. And I'm not issuing an invitation to anyone to comment during the verbal communications time for that particular issue, but since the issue that's before us tonight is a continuous, if someone would like to comment on any other issue that's not on the agenda tonight, they could do that in the written communications, which is later in the agenda.
One last question then. I think you've just said this matter is not on the agenda for purposes of substance, but only for purposes of a continuance. And therefore, if the public wants to speak on an item not on the agenda, they could indeed speak on this matter, the substance.
That's my understanding from the staff.
That was confusing, and if that's correct, I think I understand it.
So just for clarification, the chair and commission can take public comments on the motion to continue, if that's the commission's preference, and invite the members of the public to speak on the continuance. Once the commission makes a decision on that, then as the chair moves through the agenda, then public comments can be made on those items where appropriate.
Commissioner Bourgeois.
I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but I'd like to withdraw my motion, and it looks like we've gotten 2 cards, and if the public does want to address us about the issue of the continuance, I think I'd rather withdraw the motion, hear their comments, and then we can readdress once the public portion of the hearing is closed. So I'd like to withdraw my motion.
Let me ask the staff a procedural question. I was intending to let the public testimony be now after the motion was entered. Is that okay, or do we need to withdraw the motion or to hear the public opinion on the potential of a continuance?
That's at the discretion of the commission at this point and the maker of the motion.
Yeah, I'd like to withdraw it and hear comments and then move on from there.
Okay, let me ask a procedural question. This happened once before, and be sure I understand correctly. After a motion is made and seconded, the motion is owned by the body, not by the maker of the motion, so it requires a vote of the commission to withdraw the motion, if I understand correctly.
That's our understanding.
Commissioner Smith, you have something. I will be entertaining a vote on whether whether the body wishes to withdraw the motion, since it owns the motion. But Commissioner Smith,
I believe that procedurally I need to also withdraw my second. So that's the first point I want to make. The second point I want to make for the purposes of the public and anyone who is watching this meeting is that the intent is to receive the verbal communications, whether it's from part of this that we're talking about right now, the continuance, or no matter what the issue is, we want the public who wishes to speak to come forward. I'm understanding all of this correctly, correct? Okay, all right. And so I withdraw my second.
there's a part of clarification that's not necessary for either nor appropriate for Commissioner Bourgeois or Commissioner Smith to withdraw the motion or withdraw the second, because the body owns the motion, not the makers of the motion. Any other comment? If not, we're going to...
If the body owns the motion, then I assume the body has to make a motion to withdraw the motion. How do we get it off the floor?
No, I'm going to ask for a vote on the request by Commissioner Bourgeois in a second. Yeah, just was trying to take any other comments, Commissioner O'Donnell. So we have a request from a member of the commission to withdraw the motion. So all in favor of the request to withdraw the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So the motion has been withdrawn by the body, by the commission. And we will proceed with taking public comment at this time on the staff report about whether or not we should continue the item. We have one card, Ms. Barbara Dodson.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Barbara Dotson. I live on Marchmont Drive. On behalf of my neighbors, I would like to express our disappointment that these hearings will probably be continued to a date uncertain. We were looking forward to the opportunity to clarify the conditions of the CUP so that there would be no question as to what was and was not a violation. There continue to be ongoing activity increases on the Hillbrook campus that we believe violate the 2001 CUP. We look forward to the opportunity to help the Commission see that there is already excessive traffic in our neighborhood and that our streets are already very dangerous for children heading for school as well as for general pedestrians. We hope that town staff and Hillbrook will complete their environmental review with all due haste so that the neighborhood can have its issues aired and resolved. Thank you for your attention, and for your public service.
Oops. Are there any questions for Ms. Dodson? Thank you. Seeing no one else who would like to, absolutely. Please identify yourself, and eventually we need for you to fill out one of the cards.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
My name is Peter Duxbury. I live on Topping Way, and I've lived on that Marchmont subdivision since 1986, and we're very familiar with Hillbrook. And at least my wife and I are of the opinion that Hillbrook is a great asset. I mean, it's a great school. My daughter went there, but you know, it's not. It's kind of how can I put this? Los Gatos is such a great town, and it has all these, you know, little different boutique little item, what I like about Los Gatos, it has a lot of diversity. This private school is probably one of the nicest private schools. It's an independent school. It's not like a Catholic school. It's not like Challenger. It's an independent school. They take kids of all academic levels. It's a great community school. And I know it's private, but if Hillbrook goes away.
I need to remind you that the issue before us tonight is not whether Hillbrook School should get it. That's really the issue before us tonight, is whether or not we should continue this item to a future date.
Well, I think you should continue it. I think Hillbrook's a great asset. It creates a lot of diversity in this community and change, and that's what makes Los Gatos a great place. If Los Gatos or if Hillbrook goes, it's just going to turn into a bunch of big houses. Los Gatos is unique. It's not boring. We need different types of uses, and I would think you, as planners, would see that. I live the traffic is not a big deal. I know I live on Topping, but I work on a lot of projects like in Los Altos and stuff. Those streets in Los Altos are way more crowded. I mean, this is it's a county subdivision. I mean, there isn't that much traffic, and it's only occasional. I don't know. I just think Hillbrook is a great school, and I think it'd be a real shame for it to go. Thanks.
Thank you. Are there questions for the speaker? No, seeing no one else interested in speaking, we'll close the public portion of the hearing related to the continuance, and then we'll invite commissioners to make other comments or invite a motion about the continuance. Commissioner Bourgeois.
I'd like to remake my original motion to continue the item to a date uncertain.
And I will second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made by Commissioner Bourgeois, seconded by Commissioner Smith. Any further comments? Commissioner Bourgeois.
I would like to just make one quick comment. I appreciate the neighbors' desire to see this happen sooner rather than later, but I think we want to arrive at the right decision. So I think given the volume and the seriousness of these issues, I think we need to allow our staff the proper time to analyze it. So that's why we're moving forward with the continuance. So,
thank you. Other comments? If not, the chair will call the question. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passed unanimously. The members of the Planning Commission serve on a variety of other committees and boards. Are there reports from any of the committees and boards? Commissioner Bourgeois.
The General Plan Committee did not have a meeting, but I did want to just let the public know that of an upcoming meeting on next Wednesday from 6 to 8, there will be a public hearing. I believe it's to be held here on the affordable housing overlay zones. This was a special meeting called as a result of the last time this was before us. There was a lot of interest in the issue, and so I just wanted to put it again on the record that is it Tuesday?
That was Monday.
It's the 18th. When's that? Tuesday. Yeah, sorry, I said Wednesday. It's Tuesday. Thank you, Commissioner Smith. So I just wanted to get that on the record.
Any other reports from committees? Not. As with all public meetings of the town, the Planning Commission provides an opportunity for the audience, members of the public, to speak on any topic that is not on the agenda. So we would invite members of the public who would like to speak about any topic that's not on the agenda tonight to let us know that you want to speak on that topic and invite you to speak. Seeing none, we will move forward on the agenda. Marcia Jensen was, as I referred to earlier, was elected to and sworn in as a member of the town council on Monday night. Ms. Jensen served for 15 years on the Planning Commission, 2 different periods of time with an interruption in the role. She was also, during that period of time, a member of the Historic Preservation Committee. She was a member of several specific plan committees. She was a member of the General Plan Advisory Committee. She served in very many capacities related to her term of service on the Planning Commission, had a significant impact on the general plan, the current general plan, a significant impact on several of the specific plans in the town. And so the members of the Planning Commission would like to publicly thank Ms. Jensen for her service on the Planning Commission and for her service to the citizens of the town. And we all look forward to working with her over the next several years when she's a member of the town council. And I would invite any other members of the commission who would like to add to those comments at this time in recognizing Ms. Jensen's service on the Planning Commission to do that at this time. Commissioner Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I would like to publicly thank Ms. Jensen for her time as the newer member of the Planning Commission. I was the beneficiary of guidance from Ms. Jensen and always appreciated her comments and the way in which the meetings were conducted. So I just wanted to publicly thank her for her time. And not only was I the beneficiary as a member of the Planning Commission, but I'm certain I've been a beneficiary as a resident of the town as well. Thank you.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Sounds like a eulogy, but I just wanted to say she is a very intelligent woman, and it was a pleasure to serve with her. However, now she gets to reverse what we're doing, so come back and ask me later. But thus far, nothing but good things.
Any other comments? Also, just for the record, in case anyone, Councilwoman Jensen had intended to be here in person this evening, and she received an invitation to go to a reception on tonight in the Attorney General's office, not in Sacramento, in Washington, D.C. So she has been in Washington, D.C. today with her husband. Also, a daughter lives there. Their daughter lives there, so she had an opportunity to combine business, if you would, with a family event. So she expresses her gratitude that she has to me with the recognition tonight and would have been here, but we got trumped by the Attorney General. The next item on the agenda is the consent calendar. There's one item on the consent calendar. With the consent calendar, any member of the public can remove an item from the consent calendar. Any member of the commission can. Do we have? Look, appears there are a few people in the audience who would be interested in removing from the consent calendar. So does any member of the commission want to remove it from the consent calendar? If not, the chair would entertain a motion to adopt the consent calendar. Commissioner Talasfor.
Right. I move that the current commission adopt the proposed Planning Commission 2013 meeting schedule, January 9 through December 11 of 2013.
Motion made by Commissioner Talasfor to adopt the consent calendar.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bourgeois. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Do we have a report from the Director of Community Development or the planning staff?
Yes, the town council did approve the theater at 41 North Santa Cruz Avenue. They approved it with the conditions recommended by the Planning Commission. And they also added or modified some conditions regarding the outdoor balcony, where no smoking is permitted on the outdoor balcony, and they regulated the evening hours to reduce any potential noise impacts on the outdoor balcony.
Any question from the commission about that report? Commissioner Talsworth.
Can I just ask you, the evening hours, what are they now?
They are 11 p.m. Sunday through Thursdays and midnight Fridays and Saturdays.
Thank you.
Other questions for the staff about that matter? Anything else, Ms. Bailey? Any commission matters from any members of the commission? If not, I will adjourn the meeting called to order by Commissioner Sayoc.